All right. So I got this buddy who's a D, or not. He's not. He is a DJ. I refer to his DJing skills as very rarely needed, but irreplaceable. And it kind of reminds me of the main event in this UFC Singapore card because not a lot of people are excited for it, but those that are pretty decently excited for it. Unfortunately, I only did the main card. I have to go to work actually, work nights at the hospital, and I'm gonna be home in time for the main card at 8 o'clock in the morning. And personal incentive is always a pretty solid motivator, but the past couple weeks I really haven't had enough. I haven't looked at the fights enough to give my opinion on them. I haven't researched the fights enough to give my opinion on them, and I feel like I have this weird, like, credibility, not credibility, but like I have obnoxiously high morals for giving my opinion to people who gamble. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is I try not to tell you just stuff off the top of my head. Like, I'm not gonna like go and say like Movistar Evolov's like is gonna win a grappling match against Enrique Barzola because I didn't research that. I wish I researched this one. This Pessoa guy seems like a quitter. I feel like Jeff Hughes is a good bet there, but I didn't research it. Anyways, so let me see. So yeah, all right. We're gonna start with Muslim Salikov versus Laureano Staropoli. Now, there's a lot of Italians that at some point in time immigrated to Argentina. Look at Lionel Messi. He's one of those guys, I think. This guy looks like an Italian Argentinian. And then he's fighting the king of Kung Fu here. So, neither guy, well, I shouldn't say that. I start off by saying Staropoli. I'll call him the Italian. The Italian doesn't have a wrestling, a clinching, a grappling, any sort of jiu-jitsu game. He wants to kickbox with you, and he's very aggressive. I found in the second round he tends to slow down because he's so active in the first round. I actually, now that I'm thinking out loud about this, I do not think that he's going to be as active against this Muslim Salikov guy. And I will say that the Italian did have a size advantage in the weigh-ins. He looks a little taller, looks a little longer, but I don't think that matters in this one. This Salikov guy has over 100 knockouts from MMA and kickboxing. He also doesn't want to take it to the ground, but his takedown defense is good. So this fight isn't going to the ground. He has over 100 knockouts. Like, that's insane. Like 100 confirmed professional knockouts. This guy has been through the ringer. He's not going to be intimidated. He's not going to be like, this is another fight for him. And he is a very, very good kickboxer. Sometimes he struggles with distance. I hear a lot of people say he has a low output. He doesn't have a high output. I think it's more he tries to read his opponent, and he fought the guy he fought before he fought Nordine Talib was also had like a 10-inch reach advantage, and he ended up knocking him out in the second round. So like when people say like he has a low output, to me it's like he kind of struggles with fighters who are a lot longer than him. And Talib was a lot longer than him. I think his name was Rainey or something, who was a lot longer than him too. So you'll see him in the first round take inventory, kind of like just stay his distance and just kind of read his opponent, because again, the man has 100 professional knockouts. He's an intelligent fighter inside the octagon. So that information is valuable to him, even though it's a short 3-round fight. That information is valuable to him. and it wouldn't be to someone else. Well, it wouldn't be as valuable to someone else. But this guy he's very, he has a lot of experience, and he's very good inside as a kickboxer. So I think you might see, a stagnant first round, because I don't think this Staropoli guy, he knows what he's walking into. This guy is a killer. And he's not gonna walk into this guy like he did Thiago Alves. He's not gonna just throw wild shots. So this first round is gonna be really stagnant. And actually, I feel like a lot of the fight is, but you will see the Italian become a little more aggressive, because that is his style. That is what he is. And if he's not, then he has no chance of winning the fight. You have to be what's natural to you in order to be comfortable inside the octagon. But I see the Salikov guy knocking him out in the second round. He's a very good counter striker. And he's very good at reading his opponent. And one thing I have noticed is Staropoli, the Italian, does slow down in the second round. And a lot of it has to do with having such high output in the first round, which may not happen in this fight. But this Salikov guy is a killer, man. As long as this fight doesn't go to the ground, or he's not facing like a high-level wrestler, and even so, I like his takedown defense. I know he got choked out by that wrestler. I forget his name, that TriStar guy. But I like his takedown defense. And this is going to be a kickboxing match, and I do not see Salikov losing a kickboxing match against the Italian. I just don't see it. Like, I think this guy's going to catch him, and I think he's going to knock him out. Is that a good bet? I think he's minus 150 right now. I really wanted him to get down to minus 130 to say it's a good bet. I don't think it's a good bet, because this other guy has a lot of size, and he's a capable kickboxer too. But this Salikov guy is knocking this dude out. Is working his way to 200 professional knockouts. Like, it's insane to me. Next fight. This is kind of cool. This is a good one. The main card's not bad. It's like all these other ones, like random Marcos, Yoder, like Alex White. I don't know. Don'Tale Mayes has fought 3 times on the Contender Series. Now, what that tells me is he isn't good enough to go to the UFC 3 times or 2 times, but the UFC kind of brought him back, so he's kind of in that purgatory, that nowhere, or the friend zone of the end of the UFC. But one of the reasons why is his cardio is terrible. He did look better in his most recent fight, his most recent Contender Series fight. But his cardio is terrible, and he is not, like, he's one of these guys that's just brought in here because he's a big body, real strong guy. He's like 6'6", like 250 pounds of, like, he's physically muscular. Like, imagine like an ex-football player, that wants, ex-college football player or something, that wants to pursue mixed martial arts. But the problem is, there's zero area where Don'Tale Mayes has a skill advantage over this Gane guy. I like this Ciryl Gane. It's from France. He fights out of that gym that Ngannou's there. I think Veronica Macedo is fighting out of that France gym. I forget the name. It's getting a little popular because of those two, really. But he's an exceptionally skilled Muay Thai practitioner that's making a transition to the UFC. I think this fight is just set up. Don'Tale Mayes they brought him in. The fight's set up so Gane can beat this guy and make a name for himself. It's just, to me, that's what the matchmakers decided, because Don'Tale Mayes has 0 wrestling, 0 anything. He's a dude who's huge, who's capable of punching people. It's a little exaggerated, but that's really kind of what he is. But on the other hand, sometimes with all this training in mixed martial arts and and, and training jiu-jitsu and like working on your grappling, sometimes MMA boils down to which dude with their shirt off is going to hit the other dude with the shirt off in the face first. That's Dontel Mays' his chance. He may hit him in the face first, and you may see a knockout. These are big guys. I don't think Ciryl Gane's jiu-jitsu offensive top game is special. I think he fought this guy, Rafael Pessoa. I think he fought Pessoa in Uruguay or something, or I forget where. Might have been Uruguay, and he quit. And this Pessoa guy quit. He choked him out with a head and arm choke, and everyone was surprised. But this Pessoa guy looked to me like he just wanted out of that fight. And I don't blame him, because I'd rather get choked out than smashed in the face by Ciryl Gane from mount position. Or back mount. Ugh, dude. But I think Gane is going to win. I do think he's going to knock him out. You may hear people say, like, his submission game is a wild card in this fight. It's not. He's not good at jiu-jitsu. That Pessoa guy quit in Uruguay. Gane is very good at keeping his distance, and he's a very technical striker. The body size in this fight are the same. No reach advantage. But you're going to see Gane fight behind his jab. He moves exceptionally well for a guy his size. He's a very athletic 250-pound dude. Very athletic 250-pound dude. But you're going to see him fight behind his jab, and he's going to be very technical. You would even, if you could fool yourself by saying Dontel Mays is going to walk him down in the first round, but he's not. In the second round, Gane is going to find his distance, and he's going to deliver a knockout in the second round. And Dontel Mays may even be tired just from walking him down and having a staring, like more of a staring fest in the first round. Crap, I literally need to go to work in like 10 minutes. And that's like late. Gane, KO, second round. I don't know what the odds are. I do think the odds for Gane have gone down, and I think that's not a bad bet. I think it's like minus 250. This guy's better everywhere. It's not a poor bet. Minus 250, you can find a lot worse. Excuse me. All right, Frank the Crank Camacho. Now, I'm not even sure I know what the crank refers to, but Frank the Crank Camacho, it's a cool name. Give him credit for it. He's fighting Beneil Dariush in this fight. And Dariush is kind of one of those jiu-jitsu wizards. I guess I gotta boil this down for you, or for myself. If this was the Dariush that fought Edson Barbosa, I would pick Dariush, but I don't see it. Frank Camacho has a history of, or people will say he has bad cardio. I'm not necessarily agreeing to that. He had bad cardio at 170 pounds, and he also fights really well when he's tired and fatigued. You'll see Frank, he loves to fist fight, and you can see that come out when he's fatigued. It's like when you're tired. If you love to do something, like, it doesn't matter if you're tired or what, you will do it. Like, it's almost like Frank Camacho just loves fist fighting. And he is a jiu-jitsu guy that fell in love with punching. So there isn't, if the fight does go to the ground, Frank Camacho is not like a fish out of water there. But Beneil Dariush is a very high-level jiu-jitsu practitioner. I just don't see it. I don't see him winning because I think the takedown defense is there for Frank Camacho. You might even see Frank deliver like the clinch position against the fence. You might see Frank the Crank here deliver one of those trips that he loves to do. Might even find side control. But where he wins this fight is standing up. He he has a massive stand-up advantage in with the boxing. Frank hits hard. He in his last fight, the guy literally said the guy feels like a middleweight. Maybe not his last fight, but maybe 2 or 3 fights ago. Frank hits very hard, and Beneil's chin is suspect. And I just feel like Beneil's on his way out. He's kind of like retiring. I mean, if you're not like chasing the title, like MMA is like sounds like a horrible career choice. And I think Beneil kind of has thought about that. And I think he's on his way out, and that's not a good sign. Frank loves it. Like, Frank is on his way in. Beneil's on his way out. And I think he might get him in the first round. There's my alarm. I think Frank gets him in the first round. He's going to feel his power, and he's going to break his will just with that first punch. And I think he might get him out of there in the first round with a knockout. All right, now Michael Johnson, Stevie Ray. What a co-main event, huh? Michael Johnson versus Stevie Ray. I mean, it's hard to go against Johnson winning by a decision here. Johnson's bread and butter is his left hand. He tries to pull you into his power, and he's got fast hands. Stevie Ray I do think he has a reach disadvantage in this fight, and I think the reach disadvantage and Michael Johnson's left hand win the fight. Does he win by knockout? I don't know. I think the odds for this were horrible. It was like minus 350 for a Michael Johnson favorite, which is banana lands. Like, they went down to like minus 250, which is reasonable. But still, how are you going to bet on Stevie Ray at like plus 300 if you think he's going to lose? Like, if he loses, you still lose. I don't know. I'm not a professional gambler here that's making a million different bets and is going to work out in the long run. I do think there is a possibility. Now, Darren Elkins fought Michael Johnson, and Michael Johnson teed him up from the ladies' tees in the first round, and hit him a lot. And then in the second round, he kind of quit. And then Darren Elkins, he caught a kick and took him down. Michael Johnson has decent wrestling. He sprawls good because he doesn't want to be on the ground, I don't think. He wants to stand up and hit you in the face. But Darren Elkins caught a kick in that second round and took him to the ground. Darren Elkins was on top, and shortly thereafter, he choked him out. Now, fatigue makes cowards of us all. If you're a betting person, if you're a betting man here, why not bet Stevie Ray wins by submission? I think it's like plus 2,000 or something, $5 to win 100. Like, you're not going to win gambling, but it's the whole idea is to keep yourself interested in the fight. I think there's a possibility that Stevie Ray catches a kick and takes this guy down in the third round and chokes him out. Maybe the second, because like if Michael Johnson's up 2 rounds, he's not going to try to get near him. So maybe the second. Second or third round, plus 2,000 for a submission win. It's not a bad bet. Maybe second round, maybe third round. Put $1 on it, like you win $20 if it happens. There is a real possibility, I think, that Stevie Ray catches a kick and chokes him out. That's what I'm trying to say. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. And again, Michael Johnson's on his way out. And he's going up to 155 pounds, which I think he's fought there before. But he's fought his last couple fights at 145. Now all of a sudden you got a little extra weight on you. You're not used to that cardio. Third round prop might be something someone's interested in. Demian Maia. Demian Maia has a size advantage in this fight. Demian Maia has a jiu-jitsu advantage in this fight, and then Demian Maia also has a striking advantage in this fight. Ben Askren has cardio, Ben Askren has wrestling. Why is this not a 50-50 fight? I don't know. I think people love Ben Askren, and he was so popular when he fought Masvidal. and like people didn't really look into him. Like the UFC is something different. That the skill level is different. I don't know, man. Like Ben Askren, I'm not saying Ben Askren isn't a very good fighter, but Demian Maia's good. Like, why is Ben Askren this big favorite in this fight? I don't get it. I think a very good bet is to bet Demian Maia wins this fight. I think he's plus 150. That's a very good bet. He's got size. He's much bigger than Askren. He's got jiu-jitsu. If he's on his back, he's fine. Like, it's not like Ben Askren's going to knock him out. And then he also, on the feet, let's say anytime you have two high-level grapplers, you always have that adage of, like, it turns into a bad kickboxing match. Well, I'll tell you what, if this turns into a bad kickboxing match, Demian Maia might just knock Ben Askren out. I don't know. I'm really excited for this one. So I hope to, hopefully I can stay awake for it in the morning. I will, definitely. Will stay awake for it. I have to work. All right. I will see you guys next week. Oh, I every time I do these, I try to order like some sort of like prop, let's say, for like, because the UFC does a lot of international cards. I ordered my Singapore shirt and it's like in the mail still. I thought Amazon Prime was like 2 days. What am I gonna do with a UFC? What am I gonna do with a Singapore shirt after UFC Singapore? Wait for the next one? But all right, they're free returns. I got Prime. I'll be okay. All right, see you guys next week for UFC. What is it? 244, whatever. The one with the one where Nate Diaz took himself out.